Avatar: The Way of Water finally released in theaters after 13 years of waiting. We finally got the sequel to Avatar.
We got it, boys.
It finally happened. We went to the theaters and watched it. We watched it in 3D. Our first 3D film.
3D.
Since I'm trying to think of the last one. I think we watched. Yeah, I think we watched Infinity War the second time in 3D. And wasn't a fan, honestly. But Avatar was only showing in the MXC theater in 3D, and so he was like, "Fuck it," And it's Avatar, right? Like, if any movie that I'm gonna watch in 3D, Avatar is the one, because at least James Cameron. At least is trying to he believes in 3D enough to make it an aspect of the film, right? We started getting close, saw the first trailer, and I was like, it looks like more Avatar.
Yeah.
For better or for worse, right? Leading into it, James Cameron kept tweeting out just insane things. If it's not the highest grossing movie of all time, that they won't make 4 and 5, and he has ideas all the way up through 7. And like at first he was very much like, this movie might not make any money, and then by the end of it he's like, this movie's gonna fucking
blow it out of the water.
It's gonna take you to Orgasm Town.
God.
Me and Maggie have been talking about it forever, and Maggie's been on the side of,
I don't want to go.
And I was on the side of, I'm not really like dying
excited
to see this.
Yeah.
If we didn't have a podcast, would we go watch it? That was kind of where I'm at.
No, we wouldn't have.
But here's the thing. I did always keep in mind that I really liked the first Avatar. Like, I really enjoyed it. I thought it in theaters. It was a great experience. It was visually something I hadn't seen before.
Yeah.
And even though the story is, some would say recycled, I prefer to say it's a very universal story. Like a person comes to a place he's never been, interacts with people he's never met.
Yeah.
Right? And I mean, there's something very universal about that, right?
Yeah.
And so, I enjoyed it. I thought it didn't, wasn't the best movie ever made, but I thought it was cool that it existed.
Yeah.
The fact that it was the highest grossing movie of all time was a bit of a surprise to me.
Yes.
Like, I was like, I mean, it's good, but I mean, shit.
Damn,
like,
is that good?
Especially when it took it back from Endgame when it got re-released. I was like, well, fuck, really? Like, Endgame was Endgame.
There's people that believe in it, man.
I know. So getting to this one, it had been so long. I started, I truly didn't know. Would it be able to succeed?
Yeah.
Would it actually be able to...
Will it do it?
The thing we've been waiting 13 years for,
Will it be worth it?
Yeah. I mean, I honestly, I'd given up on it. Like, I honestly didn't care. Like, in the first few years after, I was like, oh, yeah, I can't wait to see another one.
Yeah.
But, I mean, after, like, 5...
Yeah, you're like, nah, this is not happening,
once I knew it wasn't coming out until, like, 2022... I was pretty much like, I'm just gonna shut this part
2008.
Yeah,
it's not happening, y'all.
I'll get into Marvel really deep.
Yeah.
So all of that being said, we then went this past Thursday, watched it in 3D, and let me say, you don't bet against Cameron. All right, you don't do it, because this shit was fire, okay? And I mean that in the most non-lame way that I can possibly say. It was amazing, okay? It really was. Like, the best compliment I can give it is that it was 3 hours long, and it did not feel like 3 hours long.
Yeah.
I could have easily...
Yeah, I agree.
I could have sat through another... Not physically, but mentally, I could have enjoyed another 2 or 3 more hours of this movie.
Yeah.
Like, what it does... again, we're gonna say spoiler free. It's just it nails exactly what it's going for. Mm-hmm. I think visually it is even better than the first one, and I don't just mean by like picking up like years in advance of technology and stuff. I mean, like,
if you hear a dog barking, it's on around.
I mean, in like the choice of area the movie takes place in. Mm-hmm. Obviously, it's called The Way of Water. Water plays a huge part in this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the setting of the film, right? The first movie was about forest. This movie's about water. And I think just visually, the water in this, like the underworld, the underwater world, right? Of just everything. And I'm not saying that people live underwater. I'm talking like
fish.
What's that stuff?
Seaweed?
Coral and stuff.
Yeah, coral.
You can go check on her. Why don't you go check on her? Everything in that was just so beautiful. And in 3D, when they're looking at fish, and like not only are the fish like coming out of the screen, which is always my favorite type of 3D. Some people say it's gimmicky. If I'm gonna watch them in 3D, I want shit flying in my face. Okay, I mean that's the point, right? That's the point. But also the depth, right? Like being able to see, like you're looking, out on the ocean horizon in real life, and just seeing it just goes forever. It was just, he nailed it.
Yeah.
And I mean the bioluminescence that they have at nighttime is just absolutely gorgeous. Yeah. The new characters that make their way into it is great. And honestly, I think one worry I had was, I've seen Avatar several times, probably more than 5 over the past 13 years. And, I really didn't want to watch it again. We ended up not watching it. We talked about going to watch it. Yeah. We ended up not. Eric Voss actually posted a recap video, which was super handy. I will say that the movie does a great job of bringing you back into the world and taking you to a new story.
Yeah.
With the same characters.
Yes,
right?
That makes sense. Yes.
Like time has progressed. I would say about the same amount of time as it's been.
Yeah.
Since the first one. So it's not like you're coming into this and it's the next day. Like
Yeah.
you're coming into this and like they
time
cover.
has passed.
Yeah. I mean they cover what's happened in that time, but I mean it's been 13, 14, 15 years. And like how that changes the dynamics. And I can't wait to talk spoilers, is just, to me, better. This movie kind of kicks Avatar in the ass. Like, Avatar was, right? Like, Avatar was great.
Yeah.
And, like, we as the audience are Jake Sully, and we are, experiencing this world for the first time, and his wonderment is our wonderment, right? And then this movie is like, okay, you get it.
Yeah.
Now we're actually going to tell a real fucking story.
Yeah.
And it's great, man. Like, and it is as universal as the first story was. I think this story is more universal on a just very, very basic human level. Like, the theme of this movie, I'm trying to think of the best way that I can stay spoiler free, but the theme of this movie is about protecting what you love.
Yes.
And I think that there is nothing more universal than that. I think, you ask anybody, everyone loves something.
Something.
Whether it's a person or a thing or a show, a movie, a book, a flower, an animal, a bird, a spot, like a location,
Yeah.
Everybody loves something. And that if somebody was threatening that thing in one way or another, you would feel a sense of duty to protect that thing, right?
Yeah.
And so I feel like this hits on that. Like that is the whole essence of this story, and it is baked throughout the 3 hours. And at no point do you lose that fact of what we're doing in this movie. And I think it does it in some of the most beautiful ways. Honestly, every character is dealing with that in one way or another. And it's great, and there were some choices that I was a little hesitant to like at first.
Yeah.
I think you know exactly the one I'm talking about. And I'll say ultimately I thought it ended up being a good choice. I mean, they could have done something different, and I would have been fine with it.
Yeah.
I don't think... I'm glad that they went this route as opposed to just never mind route. Never mind. Not really. Actually, it was more like this.
Yeah.
I preferred to not retcon. And within the world that they made, like it fits within that world.
Yes.
And honestly, I think the thing that surprised me the most was like the characters that are in the first movie that are in this movie so little that like, why did they even bother to bring them back? You know what I mean? Like, but in a good way.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it makes that world more real.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Like some of the, you know, in the first movie, you know, when it ends and they're marching all the people out, like some of the people stay, like some of the scientists and stuff. Because, I mean, you see them being marched out. And so, like seeing them still in it for maybe a grand total of like 4 minutes over the course of the 3 hours. But, you know, I'm trying to think of the best way to describe it. It's almost like Lord of the Rings, right? Or maybe The Hobbit, where it's like when you watch Lord of the Rings and Bilbo is a character, but like he was the main character in The Hobbit. Like, it's almost like that, where it's like this world is just a fully developed world.
Yes.
And like, we may be watching a different character, but that doesn't mean that the characters that were way more important than the other one are not there anymore. They're just now background characters in this story. You know, and even though Jake is obviously still the main character, it's still just really cool to, you know, it just makes it feel real. You know, so I really like that. And I'm trying to think if there was anything else spoiler free that I could really talk about. What do you guys think?
I mean, just what you just said about how it just makes that world even more real. I remember watching Lord of the Rings, and I read The Hobbit in middle school for English class. We had to. And me realizing, oh crap, there's Bilbo Baggins.
Yeah.
This crap is this is continuing on. This is great, you know. And seeing and hearing all the things in Avatar 2 that they referenced from the first one is so nice.
Yeah. It was like it was more than just a shared universe.
Yeah.
Because, like, you know, in Avengers, you know, when they all come together, like, it's great, but it's like they're all the main character.
Yeah.
But, like, this was like, they just are in this world.
Yeah.
You know?
And we are following them.
Yeah. And, like, it felt more real, more organic.
Yeah.
You know? And I'll say, one thing I was saying to somebody at work was, and I mean this in a good way, because I think you all know how I feel about what I'm about to say. It reminded me a lot of Gone with the Wind. And I don't mean that bad, because Gone with the Wind, you know, it's a classic, sure. It's a goddamn 95 hours long. You know, you've got to take 2 weeks off just to watch half of it. And, like, you know, literally aged 4 years trying to watch that movie. But it is in every sense of the word, an epic.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. And, like, you know, nowadays epic gets thrown around, which is fair. I mean, I fucking say epic, right? Avengers, oh, so epic.
Yeah.
But what I mean by that is that the scale of the story and film inside of this very small story, you know, like, we're going to tell this story about these characters.
Yeah.
But it's going to be on the grandest scale possible.
Yeah.
Like, this movie feels like an old school epic film.
Yes, it does. It does, definitely.
Right? And
yes.
like, even though it's, you know, the technology is vast.
Yeah, vast.
You know, like, even though, like, you know, most of the time, at the end of it, I had to remind myself, none of this is real. Like, none of the stuff we're seeing is real, which is insane. Like, it's insane. Like, the entire ocean is fake, and it's like, but it looks real. Like, I mean, it looks like I could just grab it.
And they look real.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. They look even better than originally. And I mean, I never thought they looked bad.
No.
But the fact that in this, like, it's even better. It's like,
you can see the texture on their skin.
I think why we had to wait 13 years is because it took that long to render. You know,
it might have.
Jesus. It's so. But just the epicness of it, like, it is. I don't know. It's like how Titanic was a classic epic, and it came out in '98, you know, or '97, whenever it came out. Like, this to me, even though it's blue monkey people, like, it feels timeless. Yeah. And, like, I feel even more than the first one that it is for everyone. It's for your grandparents. It's for your kids. Yeah. It's for, you know, the people that don't watch movies. It's for the people who don't like science fiction. And it's for the hardcore nerds that love all of this shit. Yeah. You know? like, I feel like, again, it being so universal that, I mean, I think this is just, I don't know, one of the best movies James Cameron's made. And that's saying a hell of a lot.
Yeah.
You know, like, and if this is that much proportionally better than the first one, God help us when we get to 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. Okay. Because, like, you know, they said, you know, he got like 4 pages back of notes for this one. For the third one, he got half a page of notes. And for the fourth one, he got no notes. And they were just like, holy fuck.
This is amazing.
If that is the difference from 2 to 4, what the fuck is 4 gonna be, you know? Like, if anything, this movie made me excited for the future of Avatar. And that's saying a lot. Because I did not give a shit. I did not give a shit before this.
Yeah.
So, Maggie, are you looking forward to the future of Avatar?
Ladies and gentlemen of the audience, as much as I was kind of dreading sitting in that movie theater, especially with 3D glasses on, within the first 5 minutes, I already loved it.
Yeah, it's so good.
And I remember looking over at Matt, I was like, oh my God.
God damn it.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's beautiful.
There's one visual, I think, that, and like, I'm trying to think, like, we start seeing in the Na'vi tribe, you know, when it's covering the time span, like, we see, like, some of the tribe, like, have children, you know, and seeing, like, a baby Na'vi is just
the most adorable thing.
It is seriously adorable. I mean, and, like, you know, the way that they capture that feeling of being a new parent, you know, like, I found myself, like, tearing up, you know, like, it's somebody giving birth, and it's like, you know, and it's like nobody I knew, you know, it's just another Na'vi, and like, just, I don't know, it's just that it could be so human, you know, and like, you forget that, like, you forget that, like, that these are blue monkey people, you know, like, you just, they don't look like that, like, they are so able to just connect with you, you know. Sorry, I just...
We need to get into spoilers, man.
We do. I really need to talk about it. So, all that being said, I think we can both agree, you can say whatever, I would 100% recommend going to watch this.
Yeah, I automatically texted my parents as we was leaving the theater. I said, y'all need to go watch it. You'll love it. Both of y'all. You love the first one. You'd love this one. And, of course, they're in their 70s, though. Yeah. So, Mom said that she'd probably fall asleep, so...
I think for me personally, I would say this is worth going to the theaters. I would say it's worth watching in 3D as long as you're down for that. Now, if you're not down with 3D, then, you know, don't force yourself. Obviously, do what you want to do.
I'll be honest, I did leave the theater with a headache.
Yeah. Not a horrible headache.
Not a horrible headache, but it's annoying.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you're one of those people that's kind of sensitive to this stuff, don't make yourself miserable. But
I think seeing it on a big screen is definitely the way to watch it. Now, that doesn't mean that, you know, obviously if you don't want to go, or if you can't go, then, you know, still watch it at home. It's not going to, you know, I mean, I
guarantee it's going to be on Disney Plus soon.
Oh, man, I can't wait. But honestly, I feel like just the difference of watching it in a theater and it being a grand epic film, right, versus watching it at home, you know, where I watch, you know, YouTube videos and, you know, puppy dog pals, like, just that separation. I feel like this movie deserved that. So if you can, I would highly recommend going and watch it. But, you know, again, 3D, I think it's the best 3D we've ever gotten. I think that, like, for real, there were times when I was legit, like, wanting to grab things.
Oh, I kept on doing it, but I was just trying to be funny.
Yeah. But I mean, like, it was not only the depth, but the things coming out at you.
Yeah.
And I never felt dizzy. The only time I felt dizzy was during trailers when there would be like those super fast hard cuts. Like, this I
had to shut my eyes and look away.
Yeah, this is edited in such a way that it doesn't throw you because it's in 3D. Like it's, I don't know, I don't really know how to describe it, but like the shots are wide enough when needed, and composed enough so that you don't, you're not like having that like, oh, I was here but now I'm here, and like your eyes and inner ear situation are like not connecting, like I didn't have any of that, and I mean, again, if you like 3D at all, I think this is the best 3D I've ever seen. So all of that being said, I think it's time to get into spoilers.